This is a quick video of how to set up the V60 and start it. So this is our V60. We have a few in the trust, normally used for BiPAP, but at the moment we're going to be using it for intubated patients. To set up your V60, you need some tubing. We also need a HME filter, a CO2 monitor, a bacterial viral filter, and some inline suction. When you take those out of the packets, they will look like this. Okay. First of all, we set up the Fisher-Paykel. We will not be using the Fisher-Paykel. For COVID-19 patients, we've been advised against wet circuits. We then start with a tubing, the small piece. This filter is in this set and it goes to the machine. Okay. Next, we check the next bit of tubing. Make sure that your ports are tightly shut because we're not going to be using the heating wire. This one connects onto the ventilator there. Okay. Next, we have our CO2 monitor and we have our HME. In theatres, you may have your CO2 monitor directly into this port here. We then have our flexi tubing and the inline suction to the patient. You can put your filter directly onto the inline suction, but if you're proning your patient, you want some give in the tube to stop getting sores from the HME. The viral filter goes on the expiratory port. Make sure it's nice and tight. This will protect you and your colleagues. So a complete tube setup like this. Hopefully you'll turn your ventilator on before your patient arrives and you can put it on standby and check your settings. To place on standby, press standby and disconnect from your patient. We then check our mode. For ventilating patients who are intubated, you go to your batch AVAPS. You have your settings here. You can change your tidal volumes. This will be 6 mils per kilo. You can also change your CPAP or your EPAP, as the V60 calls it, or your oxygen easily. And accept your changes. You can change your alarm settings as you need. In your menu, you need to make sure that on your mask port, you're on ET/trachea. Any other settings are for your BiPAP modes. So check ET, accept. To restart your ventilation, you press your start. And like I say, to turn to standby, press your standby and disconnect your patient. For your alarm, you have silence and reset at the top. You need to make sure that your V60 is plugged in and the oxygen is plugged in. We have a battery. If we unplug it, the battery sign will come up here. You'll have about 6 hours depending on your ventilation settings. If you have any other questions, please contact a member of the senior staff.